Hey guys, so I'm back with another TV show recommendation. I really want you guys to watch the show because I really wanted to get a second season. I'm sure most of you guys remember Kelly from Insecure, Issa Rae's show. She was like the comic relief character. Everybody loved her. She was hilarious in the show. But it felt like they only used her character for comedic relief and didn't really flesh her character out. So now the actress who played Kelly, Natasha Rothwell, stars in, created, and produced this show on Hulu called How to Die Alone. And just a plus, I'm a New Yorker and I love watching shows that are set in New York, so that's a plus about this show. The main plot is Mel, a financially unstable, overweight, black JFK airport employee who's never been in love and forgotten how to dream until an accidental brush with death catapults her on a journey to finally take flight and start living by any means necessary. I would rate this show a 9 out of 10. I literally sped right through the 8 episodes. I started watching it one night and watched the first 5 episodes, and then I watched the next 3 episodes the next day. So that was the review, and from this point forward, I'll be giving you guys a short recap of season 1, so it will include some spoilers. This show really has the perfect balance of comedy, romance, drama, not coming of age, but like just finding yourself, self-love, that kind of genre. I mean, the storylines are great, relatable. I love how they start each episode by just like public speaking to random people in New York and asking them a question that relates to the episode, and they include those clips at the beginning of each episode. So we see that Mel is pretty lonely and she's all about this job that she has as a JFK airport employee. She doesn't really have many friends or the best relationship with her family. She's also an airport employee who fears flying and has never flown a plane before. We also find out that her ex, who's also her boss, Alex, is getting married. And on the first episode, we see her getting the invitation to his wedding. And it's in Maui, which means she would have to take her first flight to attend the wedding. But why would you want to attend your ex's wedding anyway? Also find out that the reason Alex and Mel broke up was because she told him that she doesn't love him after he said he loved her. She was like, you're just here because you're around and you want to touch me. Mel plays a big part in her own loneliness and she doesn't know how to be loved. And that's something that she realizes and tries to work on throughout this show. We also have Mel's best friend, Rory. He's Asian and he's adopted by white parents who own or run JFK. So we do eventually see a flashback at this Thai restaurant, which is like a central place of the show. Mel used to work there. She was treated really bad by her boss. She met Rory there one day when she was serving him. He saw how she was being treated, told her to quit the job, and that he could get her a job at JFK, which he did, so they work together now. Also, this is somewhere that Mel and Alex used to go out to eat and go on their dates, and it's somewhere that we also later on find out that he now takes his fiance on dates. It's also Mel's birthday in that first episode, so Rory and her are supposed to hang out after work, but he ends up bailing on her for some peen. So Mel ends up spending her birthday alone. She goes and gets crab rangoon because that's her favorite food from the Chinese restaurant or the Thai place that I was telling you guys about. And she goes to IKEA and buys, a bunch of furniture. So she's eating her crab rangoon and putting together her furniture, and it falls on her. She wakes up in the hospital and realizes that she had a near-death experience. And technically, she did die alone because she died for 3 minutes, but one of her neighbors heard the thud and came and, found her. In that time, it was revealed that Natasha was her own emergency contact at the hospital, and there was a lady on the other side. You know how you will be in a room with somebody, but y'all can't see each other because of the curtains. So there was an older woman named Elise, and Elise is basically the catalyst that changes her life. The accident itself was, but Elise gave her that strength and that push to say, girl, do it. Elise basically opens up to her about how, she lived an unfulfilled life until one day she just took control. And she said, at least when I die, I'm going to see something. When my life flashes before my eyes, I'm going to have memories. I'm going to see something. Elise unfortunately passes away mid-conversation. And then it's also revealed that Elise herself didn't have a next of kin, meaning that Elise also died alone. And then the hospital mixed up Elise's stuff with Mel's stuff, which basically made her the last person on earth to see, talk to, or have any of Elise's stuff. Her up from the hospital, but they end up arguing and she gets out of his car and goes to. And at the bar, she becomes friends with the bartender, Allie, as well as her neighbor, Tamika, who I already mentioned to you guys, found her when she almost died. Lisa's keys that she has, goes into her apartment, realizes that she had a dog named Bubba, which was good that she took the dog because nobody would have probably found the dog. The dog would have went hungry and died. So she took the dog, but she also took her credit cards. And she used Elise's credit card to book her trip to Maui for Alex's wedding so that she could overcome her fear of flying. But again, why overcome your fear of flying by going to your ex's wedding? We also saw that she had a $30,000 medical bill from the near-death experience that she obviously didn't have the money for, and I believe she didn't have insurance. She tried to use Elise's credit cards for that, but her credit card limit was $10,000 and she needed $30,000. She also asked Rory, her rich best friend, to co-sign for her, and he wasn't comfortable doing it. So she ended up stealing her brother, who I told you guys she had the argument with in the car, social security number to get on a payment plan to pay the medical bills, but she's not making the payments. Mel also signed up for this management program at JFK because she's trying to take control of her life. But Rory didn't want her to take this class because he has a weird relationship with his dad, and his dad doesn't see him as management material. But what does that have to do with Mel for real? And you could just tell that it was a lot of resentment built up when they got into that big argument. You could tell that Mel was resenting him for not co-signing for her. And you could tell that Rory was resenting Mel because he feels like he's been her only friend for the last 4 years. You know, she has no social life and depends on him for everything. So we meet three other characters, Deshawn, Sean, and Terrence, who are baggage handlers. And we start to see a nice little possible romance forming between Mel and Terrence. Terrence was casually seeing a flight attendant named Tina, but he kept telling Deshawn and Sean that it wasn't that serious and that no matter how much he loves someone, he'll never share his food with them. And we see this because Tina does ask Terrence for some chips and he refuses to let this girl even have one chip. But this is the girl that he's talking to. But when Mel comes outside to smoke her cigarette on the runway and chat it up with the baggage handlers, he lets Mel damn near finish his whole bag of chips. He also attended Mel's graduation from her management program. Her ex Alex was there as well, but Terrence stayed the whole time. Alex left. Terrence even decided to do this whole flight simulation for Mel to prepare her for her flight. You know, he set it up, invited all of her friends. Alex did show up late again, but it's like Terrence was there the whole time and he was the one who actually put it together. But Mel was still so focused on Alex, who's getting married and who she already pushed away to getting married in the first place. We also have a part in the show where Mel tries to do online dating thanks to her new friends, Tamika and Allie, who I told you guys about. And while they're making her profile and she starts swiping through, she comes across her brother's profile who's actually married. And it's time for Thanksgiving, so she decides to make a catfish profile and continue to talk to her brother and says that she's going to confront him about it on Thanksgiving because they don't get along. And she also needs leverage because she did steal his social security. And when she does confront her brother about his cheating and he confronts her about the social security, they do actually end up getting somewhere with their relationship. A day before it's time to leave for the wedding, Mel and Alex have a conversation and she tries to tell him that she still has feelings for him. And he's basically like, can you tell me you love me? And she still couldn't do it. And he was like, this is why I can't be with you. You couldn't allow yourself to be loved back then and you still can't. So I'm going to get married to somebody who's going to allow me to love them. Mel does end up taking her first flight, but instead of going to the wedding, she ends up going on an airport hopping trip. And one of her stops was where Elise was from in Chicago. She met one of Elise's old friends. And when she came back, Terrence was there to meet her at the airport. So I'm like, yes, my girl is about to fall in love with Terrence, period. All of a sudden, she gets tackled and arrested for fraud, forgery, identity theft, and grand larceny based on everything that she did using Elise's credit cards. That was definitely a reality check for Mel and the audience. And it leaves us with a good cliffhanger to see what happens in season 2. So like I said, please check the show out so that it can be renewed for season 2. It's on Hulu. Okay, bye.